Hello, Worldwide Core Radio. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in this beautiful world. So, how was your weekend? I hope you got to do something fun. It was so pretty here in Oklahoma. The sun was shining. The wind wasn't blowing too bad. What day was it I was outside? Oh, Thursday. Last Thursday, we were outside all day. We had a special homeschool day, learning about the Oklahoma land run with our little ones so that they could learn about history and all kinds of stuff. The weather was just amazing. So I hope that you got to get out and get some sun. I'll have to look up that study, speaking of the sun, because we are getting into summer when it's going to be nice. And people are going to be spending more time outside, and hopefully you'll be getting some vitamin D out of that if you're in the sun. And then I'm going to, my brain. I'm going to read you an article that I shared on my Facebook page. And it's just about spending time in the sun and what it does for you. So, let me see here. Let me see where we are in the book, because we've been working our way through the 100-Year Life. Sorry, I'm in a singing mood today. We've been working our way through the 100-Year Life. I might read you a couple of pages on that after I read to you about the sunscreen and vitamin D story that I shared. Because we're going to be spending more time outside, and some people are avoiding the sun on purpose. That's not me. I can tell you right now, I do not avoid the sun. I absolutely love summer. I love spending time at the pool with my littles. We do swim lessons. We spend so much time at the pool during the summer. It's crazy, but that's what I love. I am definitely a spring summer kind of gal, and I love spending time at the pool, especially watching my littles have fun. So if this is the first time that you join me, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I am NeAnne, and this is Healthy Journey, and I will be sharing with you some of the information that I learned on my journey to health and wellness, and just encourage you to definitely jump in there and do your own research. Read these articles that people are posting and sharing on Facebook. Diligently go in there and find the information for yourself. That's what I encourage you to do, is just jump in there and find the information for yourself, because this information is out there. You just have to open your eyes, your mind, and your heart to the information that's being shared, and then decide for yourself how you want to use that information for your family, for your health and wellness. What do you want to do to when you're approaching those health decisions for yourself and your children? So, I am NeAnne. If you have questions, you're welcome to email healthyjourney2016@gmail.com. That's healthyjourney2016@gmail.com. You can find me at #HealthyLivingWithNeAnne. And you can find Worldwide Core Radio at #WorldwideCoreRadio. www.worldwidecoreradio.com. That's how I'm coming to you today. So thanks for joining in. And just so you know, I am not a medical professional. I cannot diagnose, treat, or prescribe. So please don't ask me any questions that have to do with diagnosing, treating, or prescribing, because I cannot help you with that. You would have to seek a medical professional for that kind of information. So that is a little bit about me. I have been on my healthy journey for 11 years-ish, somewhere around there. It has been a long journey. 11 years is a long time. It's definitely had its ups and downs with the information that I've learned over those 11 years, what I was going to do with that information. And then, of course, you have to deal with people that don't have the same information that you have, whether that be friends or family or strangers who think you're a little bit crazy because of the things that you do. But that's okay. I don't mind being the crazy lady that won't eat certain foods, or the crazy lady that won't let you give my kid a piece of candy because they really just don't need that candy, right? And so I'm the crazy one at the bank in the drive-through who tells the teller, "Oh, no, thank you. We don't need any candy today." Of course, my children don't appreciate that, but that is me. I'm the crazy lady that says no. And so, but that's okay. Those are the decisions that I have to make for my family, and I don't really mind it when people think that I'm a little bit loony, because I know in my mind and in my heart why I'm doing what I'm doing and the choices that I have made. And so I am prepared to be looked at like I'm cray. I'm okay with that. So you just have to know that might happen if you make some of these decisions for your family. And it's okay. It's okay to be the crazy one in the room. It's actually kind of fun sometimes. And then it's really fun when your friends and your family are just as crazy as you are. And then you have somebody to go out into the world and act crazy with, right? And you can go find the farm to table restaurants and enjoy the food, or go shopping for organic together so that you can make better food decisions for your family. Or maybe you're posting the same articles on Facebook and uplifting each other when you're posting about that. So super fun to do this with other people. And so I do have a team of people that I do this with. I have a tribe of like-minded people, which is even more fun, because then we can have these conversations and get frustrated and share our wins with each other. And so I do have a team of people that I go through this journey with, because I have found a way through my Young Living Essential Oils business to share with other people, to include them in our tribe, and just walk through this world together. And we do it fun. We do it with encouragement, and we do it together. So that's even more fun. So if you would like to join our Young Living Healthy Journey team, then I would be more than blessed by that. And then I would love to share the information that we share each month. So I'll tell you some more about that here in just a little bit, because with my Young Living independent business, I have a voice where I can teach people how to get the chemicals out of their home, how to use chemical free in their home to support health and wellness, and just to make your house smell good, because plug-ins and candles aren't good for you if you haven't seen those articles. So we're going to talk some more about that here in just a minute. But real quick, I'm going to share this article with you. It was on realpharmacy.com, and that's real farm with an FARM. like a farm you grow food on. So realpharmacy.com. And the title is Major Study, Cancer and Sunscreen Myth Exposed. And it's by Paul Fassa. According to a June 2014 article featured in The Independent, which is a UK magazine, a major study conducted by researchers at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden found that women who avoid sunbathing during the summer are twice as likely to die as those who sunbathe every day. It doesn't say what to die from. It just says they are twice as likely to die as those who sunbathe every day. The epidemiological study followed 30,000 women. That's quite a few. So 30,000 women for over 20 years. And, quote, showed that mortality was about double in women who avoided sun exposure compared to the highest exposure group. Unquote. Wow. Okay, so not reading here. This is me talking. 2 things to look for in a study. Number 1, how big is the sample size? So 30,000 women is a pretty big sample size. And then number 2 could be how long did they follow them? Which this one, they followed them pretty long. 20 years. They followed them for 20 years, which is pretty good. And then, so I always look for sample size, and I always look for how they studied. So they followed these ladies for 20 years. How was this experiment conducted? Was it conducted in a bubble, or was it conducted outside of a bubble? So this one, 30,000 women for 20 years. That's a pretty big study. So let's see what it says next. Researchers concluded that the conventional dogma, which advises avoiding the sun at all costs and slathering on sunscreen to minimize sun exposure, is doing more harm than actual good. That's because overall sun avoidance, combined with wearing sunscreen effectively, blocks the body's ability to produce vitamin D3 from the sun's UVB rays, which is by far the best form of vitamin D. In the USA, vitamin D deficiency is at epidemic levels. Ironically, vitamin D deficiency can lead to aggressive forms of skin cancer. A groundbreaking 2011 study published in Cancer Prevention Research suggests that optimal blood levels of vitamin D offer protection against sunburn and skin cancer. Additionally, vitamin D protects the body from diseases like multiple sclerosis, rickets in the young, tuberculosis, inflammatory bowel disease, type 1 diabetes, inflammatory bowel disease, again, they listed that twice, rheumatoid arthritis, systemic lupus, erythematosus, and Sjogren's syndrome. It's Sjogren. Sjogren's syndrome. So according to the Vitamin D Council, researchers at the University of Alabama at Birmingham recently reported that, quote, lack of sun exposure may lead to cognitive decline over time, unquote. The dissident dermatologist Bernard Ackerman, MD, deceased in 2008, was one of the world's foremost authorities on the subject of skin cancer and the sun, sunscreens, and melanoma skin cancer risks. Below are Ackerman's views excerpted from an article in the New York Times, July 20th, 2004, titled, I Beg to Differ, a dermatologist who's not afraid to sit on the beach. The link between melanoma and sun exposure, dermatology's dogma, is unproven. There's no conclusive evidence that sunburns lead to cancer. There is no real proof that sunscreens protect against melanoma. There's no proof that increased exposure to the sun increases the risk of melanoma. A 2000 Swedish study concluded that higher rates of melanoma occurred in those who used sunscreen versus those who did not. Sunscreens, cancer-causing biohazards. Elizabeth Plorday, PhD, is a California-based scientist who authored the book Sunscreens Biohazard, Treat as Hazardous Waste, which exclusively documents the serious life-threatening dangers of sunscreens, not only to people, but to the environment as well. Dr. Plordy provides proof that malignant melanoma and all other skin cancers increase significantly with ubiquitous sunscreen use over a 30-year period. She emphasizes that many sunscreens contain chemicals that are known carcinogens and endocrine-disrupting chemicals. Environmentally, she notes, in areas where there has been much exposure to endocrine-disrupting chemicals, coral and other sea populations have died off, and the prevalence of dual-sexed fish has risen. Dr. Plordy's research on mice and sunscreen exposure also showed increases in both pup and maternal mortality, as well as reproductive issues in subsequent generations. Additionally, the book documents how sunscreen chemicals have polluted our water sources, including oceans, rivers, and municipal drinking water. Worse yet, testing revealed that 97% of Americans have sunscreen chemicals in their blood. Dr. Plordy's book also has a chapter on the importance of vitamin D3 to health, and she posits that the widespread vitamin D3 deficiency is linked to overuse of sunscreen combined with sun avoidance in general. All right, so I thought that was fairly interesting. I had stopped using sunscreen a long time ago because of the cancer-causing chemicals that are found in sunscreen. So I haven't been using a whole lot of sunscreen in the last 11 years, even on my children. We would use natural forms of sunscreen, but we would also just, wear the sun shirts, which probably have chemicals in them that we should stay away from too, which I need to look at. But when my boys were younger, I made them wear their swim shirts until they got a base tan, and then they wouldn't burn. But they didn't wear anything on their arms or their face or their legs because I knew about the chemicals so when I started doing this research 11 years ago, the chemicals in the sunscreen were actually made me more nervous than the actual sun itself. So we haven't used sunscreen for a long time in our home, but so sweet that last year at our international convention, Young Living introduced an all natural sunscreen, which I love. So we have been using that since last summer. When we do use sunscreen, if we're going to be out for an extended period of time, I will put it on my girls' nose and cheeks just to protect their face. I'll put it on their face. The only reason I'm doing that, honestly, is so that later in life they don't have wrinkles, right? So purely vanity right there. Pure vanity. Myself, I don't even use sunscreen on my face. I wear a visor or a hat or of some kind to cover my face when I'm out in the sun for extended periods of time. If I'm just going to be out for a little bit, I don't even bother with a hat or sunscreen. But I was so excited last year when Young Living came out with a all-natural, chemical-free sunscreen that we can use even on, the littles. So exciting. And so I've been telling everybody about that. So I can definitely hook you up and help you order your own all-natural sunscreen. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt the environment. I mean, seriously. Think of all of these bodies that are slathering on this nasty chemical sunscreen and then getting in the water. What are we doing? We're killing coral. We're making fish dual sex or whatever it said in that article. I mean, come on. Let's just use our brain. We need the sun, right? We need the sun to survive. It helps us to produce vitamin D. But we're not going to have food or anything else if we don't have the sun. So, the sun is definitely, something that we have to have, and it's productive. So, I was never one to be afraid of the sun. I've always loved sunbathing, even when I was younger. I mean, when I was younger, we were sunbathing with baby oil and, oh crud, what is that red stuff we dropped in there? Anyway, it's an antiseptic. We would drop that in the baby oil, right? I mean, that was worse for me than the stinking sun, the baby oil from a petroleum product. Oh my gosh, that was worse. And sometimes we would just go out there with vegetable oil. So anyway, I've always loved the sun. Love it. So we will definitely be spending lots of time in the sun getting our vitamin D this summer. And apparently, according to this study, we are 2 times less likely to pass away. So that makes me feel even better about taking my girls to the pool. I'll have to tell my husband, we are decreasing our mortality rate just by going to the pool. So, and that will suffice for the reason that we're spending all day at the pool. Well, he's at work. So, but that's just what we do in the summertime. We go to the pool. So that's a super, super interesting article. Hopefully you'll take the time to look more into that. Lots of articles about why sunscreen chemicals are worse for you than the sun. So I hope that you delve into that. That could be where you want to, maybe that's where you want to start on your journey. And if that's where you want to start, then I can definitely help point you to more information about that. So definitely let me know. Okay, so let's see. Where are we today? We are actually on chapter 6 of The 100-Year Lie by Randall Fitzgerald. Super interesting book. If you haven't gone out and bought this, I hope that you do. So for those of you that haven't been here before, the introduction to Mr. Fitzgerald's The 100-Year Lie reads, over the past 100 years, our species has been engaged in a vast and complicated chemistry experiment. Each and every one of us, along with our children, our parents, and our grandparents, has been a guinea pig in this experiment, which uses our bodies, our health, our wealth, and our goodwill to test the proposition that modern science can improve upon the foods and medicines of nature. So that's just the first paragraph of his introduction. Now chapter 6, which is where we are right now, the title is, Are We Becoming a Mutant Species? So it starts with a quote, exposure to toxic chemicals and a combination of genetic and toxic chemical factors cause about 28% of all developmental defects, affecting 120,000 infants born each year. And that comes from the National Research Council Commission on Life Sciences study from 2000. So 28% of all developmental defects, affecting 120,000 infants born per year. That was the statistic. Okay. So here we go. We're going to delve into this first part of this chapter, and then I'm going to tell you how you can join me on my team so that you can stay educated and get what you need on your healthy journey. So in the moments following the birth of Sue Green's first baby, everything seemed normal, but then the mood suddenly shifted. The midwife was smiling, then her face fell. Remembers Sue. Congratulations, she said. And then there was silence. Over the next few hours, this awkward silence continued as a parade of doctors and nurses came to view the child. You're not telling me something, she screamed. Is it a boy or a girl? No one could tell her. So began a heartbreaking article in the Times of London, July 26, 2005, by Steve Bogan, that described how a couple in Northern Ireland, Sue and John Green, spent 4 weeks consulting with specialists and putting their baby through chromosome tests in an effort to establish whether the child was a boy or a girl. Rather than just aberrations, these sorts of reproductive disorders have become a horrifyingly routine chapter in the annals of modern medicine, according to the Times, leading some prominent scientists to blame endocrine disruptors, a class of synthetic chemicals that show up everywhere in our plastics, fabrics, carpets, perfumes, pesticides sprayed on food crops, and a host of other products. Laboratory tests have shown they can disrupt the delicate balance of hormones in the human body, especially when exposure occurs in the fetus. The wide range of effects on reproductive health and gender identity is only now being documented and measured. A group of 120 scientists from around the world met in Prague in May 2005 and issued a warning and an appeal to all governments to acknowledge their, quote, serious concern about the high prevalence of reproductive disorders in European boys and young men, unquote. These health specialists identified endocrine disruptor chemicals as the prime suspect for the epidemic of reproductive abnormalities being seen worldwide. Studies in pediatrics and other medical journals reveal that since the early 1960s, there has been an estimated 40% increase in male infants born in Europe and the United States with abnormal genitals and symptoms of feminization. Other health statistics tell a similar reproductive horror story. At least 10% of all couples in the United States are unable to conceive a child, and the numbers seem to be growing. Some communities in Canada report precipitous declines in male births, down to just 1/3 of all births. In the last 2 decades of the 20th century, a 400% increase in tubal pregnancies was reported among women in developed nations. In vitro fertilization clinics throughout the U.S. report a huge spike in the number of abnormal embryos being produced by young, healthy women in their 20s who should be in the prime of their reproductive lives. Nearly 80% of 300 embryos sampled were abnormal. Wow, 80% of 300, according to the authors of a study on reproduction who presented their alarming results to an October 2005 conference in Montreal of the American Society for Reproductive Medicine and the Canadian Fertility and Andrology Society. The genetic defect rate among fertile women could prove to be far higher because only 11 chromosomes were tested for this study. Experts speculated that environmental factors, a euphemism for synthetic chemicals, might be causing the rapid and widespread denigration. Male sperm counts worldwide have been reduced by 50% in the past half century, and during the same period, testicular cancer rates underwent a 600% increase. In China, the fastest developing country in the world, a 2001 study found that 85% of university students tested were infertile. The list of statistics demonstrating an unmistakable pattern that something is going seriously wrong goes on and on. Some of these developments might at first seem rather humorous if the implications weren't so grim. During the summer of 2005, clinics in London began reporting an upsurge in the numbers of men seeking breast reduction surgery. In just a year, clinics throughout the city had more than doubled their male clientele for breast reduction treatment. Hormones contained in the food we eat may be one of the reasons for the increase, speculated Yannis Alexandrides, a London surgeon who told the Sunday Times that he now performs 1 male breast reduction surgery a week compared to 1 a month just a few years earlier. Other physicians told the newspaper that suspected that female hormones from contraceptive pills flushed through the sewage system and recycled into tap water could be the culprit in demasculinizing so many grown men. Among 8-year-old girls in the United States, Britain, and Australia, 1 out of every 6 has already entered puberty with breast growth, pubic hair, and even menstruation. Just a generation ago, only 1 out of every 100 8-year-old girls had entered puberty, whereas today nearly 2 out of every 100 girls are showing sexual development at 3 years of age. This phenomenon has come to be known as precocious puberty. A study in the journal Nature determined that the onset of puberty before age 10 more than doubles a female's chances of breast cancer and ovarian cancer later in life. What is equally astounding to me are the elaborate rationalizations embraced by many Western physicians and the medical establishment to explain these extraordinarily rapid changes in sexual development. They claim that precocious puberty is nothing more than a natural byproduct of improved nutrition, then try to reassure parents that their daughter's experience of raging hormones and menstruation at age 8 shouldn't be a cause for concern because it is now considered normal for puberty to begin at that age. What they are confessing is that synthetic chemicals are redefining what it means to be normal. To try to understand what is going on, let's start with the word hormone, which comes from Greek to mean to set in motion. That is what hormones do. They activate our metabolic processes. Our hormones, in turn, are regulated by the endocrine system, a series of glands that include the pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenal, hypothalamus, parathyroid, pancreas, ovaries, and testes. Endocrine system disruptor chemicals imitate our natural hormones by affecting any or all of the glands that produce the hormones. This can trigger or disrupt our natural hormone production. Estrogens associated with the reproductive system are especially vulnerable to disruptor chemicals, sometimes called gender bender synthetics. More than 50 chemicals in common usage, ranging from plasticizers to pesticides, have been identified as hormone disruptors. Dozens more are candidates. A report on endocrine disruptors, also called hormonally active agents or HAAs, prepared by the National Research Council, an arm of the National Academy of Sciences, did authoritatively conclude in 1999 that adverse reproductive and developmental effects have been observed in human populations, wildlife, and laboratory animals as a consequence of exposure to hormonally active agents. PCBs, DDT, dioxin, and dozens more synthetic chemicals are stored in the fatty tissues of fish and other animals and then passed on to the humans who consume them. These persistent chemicals fake their way into the endocrine system, masquerading as hormones. Right, the 3 authors of the book Affluenza. It's a deadly case of miscommunication. When hormones, our chemical messengers, are released or suppressed at the wrong time in the wrong amounts, life gets bent out of shape. So that's what he has to say about are we becoming a mutant species? So, anyway, always the bearer of bad news, it seems. No, I really not. I mean, I gave you really good information about sun and sunscreen and vitamin D this before I gave you the bad information about all the stinking chemicals that they put in our lives through the food we eat or the stuff that we're slathering on our bodies. So just know that there is a better way, but you just have to be diligent. You have to be on your game, and you have to be willing to make changes. So, just so you know, and that's why I am emphatic about teaching a chemical-free lifestyle, because it can be done. It can be done easily. It can be done affordably, And the reason that I can say it can be easy and affordable is because I have been using my own store through Young Living essential oils for the last 5 years. I don't have to worry about the ingredients because I know that Young Living is doing diligent testing on the ingredients that I'm using. And so I feel comfortable about using it in and on my body. And so those products are good to go. And I don't have to worry about what is in them. But I also know that my supplements are good for me. I know that my shampoo, my body wash, my conditioner, my laundry soap, I know that all of those have ingredients that are not harmful and that I don't mind using on myself and my children. And so super easy. I order all of that stuff from Young Living. They ship it straight to my door. It is so easy and affordable to get your hands on this stuff these days. And so that kind of stuff is super easy to do. Now, when you're making food choices and all of that stuff, we have some other past shows that we've talked about food choices. We'll be talking about them again. That's a little bit different, but right now we're just talking about getting those chemicals out of your home. So I'll read you a few more statistics just so you know why I am so passionate about this information and I love sharing. The number 2 cause of death in the United States is cancer. 1,620 people a day die of cancer. 1 in 3 cases in the U.S. are directly linked to poor diet, physical inactivity, weight, or chemical exposure. The American Cancer Society says only 5 to 10% of all cancer cases are from gene defects. That's 5 to 10%. So that means 95 to 90% of cancer cases are under our control. And it's what we allow in our homes that we can control. The National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health studied 2,983 ingredients in our products at home and found 884 toxic ingredients. 314 of them caused biological mutations. 218 caused reproductive problems. 778 were toxic to the human body. 146 they knew caused cancer tumors but were allowed in the United States even though they were banned in other countries around the world. Many of these chemicals are allowed in common cleaning supplies in the United States, things that are under your cabinet right now. And you can go look at those ingredients. Can you pronounce those ingredients? Do you know where they come from? Are they synthetic, made in a laboratory, and we don't know what they're doing to our bodies? So 26 seconds after exposure, chemicals are found in measurable amounts in the human body. The average woman applies 300 chemicals to her body a day, 80 before breakfast. The top 10 most dangerous chemicals in our home can be found in air fresheners like plug-ins or candles. Second on the list is chemical cleaning supplies, which you can do away with. Beauty supplies and personal care products. Most deodorant has aluminum, which is not good for our bodies. And then one of the top pollutants in the family home is laundry soap and fabric softener. Because you wash your clothes in it, it sits on your skin, it outgasses in your closet all night. That information is straight from the government, from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's top 10 killer household chemical study. And so you can look up that. But you can get rid of everything that I just talked about by becoming a member of Young Living and ordering that stuff for yourself, having it shipped directly to your door. So, did you also know that there are 100,000 chemicals on the market today? And the Toxic Substance Control Act of 1976 grandfathered them in? These chemicals have not had any safety testing, and we know very little about their side effects. Dr. Samuel Epstein, chairman of the Cancer Prevention Coalition, says it is unthinkable that women would knowingly inflict such exposure on their infants and children and themselves if products were routinely labeled with explicit warnings of cancer risks, but they are not labeled. Since the 1940s, prostate cancer is up 200%. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I was looking for a cord. I think I'm going to need a cord to charge here in a minute. Might have to find one. Thyroid cancer, 155%. Brain cancer, up 70%. And the American Cancer Society estimates a 50% rise in cancer rates by 2020. All right, hopefully my tablet won't die on us. So I'm going to tell you how you can become a Young Living member and get this stuff for yourself, because it's super easy to do. I got involved when I went to my first oils class, and I absolutely fell in love with the products. I got rid of all of the candles and plug-ins in my home, and I used the diffuser that came with my essential oil starter kit. Makes my house smell amazing. I use lemon. I'll use lavender. Sometimes I'll put peppermint in there. We have a blend called Christmas Spirit, which smells amazing. So I'll put that in the diffuser. It makes my house smell so awesome. And the starter kit with 11 essential oils in a diffuser is the only thing on our Young Living website that is half off. It's $160. It is worth the investment for what you can do in your home with that starter kit. So all you have to do is head over to youngliving.com. You click on Become a Member, and you enter my sponsor number, because I want you on my team. I want to be able to support you on this journey. I want to send you reference material. I want to educate you. I want you to walk this journey with the rest of our team, because we have an amazing team. So youngliving.com. Click on Become a Member and enter 1416900 as the sponsor and enroller information. And then, hold on, let me see if this will work here. Sorry, ladies and gents, I'm trying to find a cord that will charge while we are on here. That does not fit. All right, I'm just going to have to hurry so that we don't get cut off. So 1416900 for the sponsor and enroller information. And then you click on the starter kit that you... And then you click on the starter kit that you would like to use to get started. Super easy. Super exciting. And then the Young Living will ship it directly to your home. So again, become youngliving.com, become a member. My sponsor and enroller information is 1416900. You fill in your personal information, you put in your payment information, and then you click finish, and then they're going to say, okay, I'm going to ship this to you. It should be to you within 7 to 10 days, which is awesome. And then you're started on your journey, and I'm here to support you through that journey. So you can, once you become a member on our team, then I can see your information. Then I can send you information through the mail. I can email you stuff. I can even text you information, and you can ask me questions. So start going through your home. Start going through your home. And why is this important? Because this is something you need to take seriously. No one is watching your home but you. You are the gatekeeper. And I'd be willing to bet my life that there are things in your home right now that you're exposed to every single day that could be killing you. And the thing is it's totally preventable. And that's where I come in, because I'm going to help you find reference material to get you out of that chemical-laden lifestyle. We can reduce your chemical body burden just by switching to Young Living products. Super easy to do. So, we're going to start with, we're going to start small, start slow, start with what you're convicted on. Let me give you a tip. With your food, flip the labels over and start reading the ingredients. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. It doesn't mean you can't have ice cream. Just get the ice cream that doesn't have 35 ingredients. With your home, start with the biggest offenders first. Laundry soap, Young Living has it. Dishwasher soap, Young Living has it. Cleaning supplies, Young Living has it. Candles and plug-ins, don't need them anymore because you're going to have essential oils, 100% pure essential oils, and a diffuser to make your house smell amazing. So toss the candles and plug-ins. We have oil-infused Thieves Cleaner. We have oil-infused laundry soap. We have dish soap. So all of that stuff you can switch out. And you can do it, one item a month. You can do 2 items a month. You can do it all at the same time, depending on what your budget allows. So just let me know. So again, youngliving.com. My member number for sponsor and enroller is 1416900. If you have questions, email me at healthyjourney2016@gmail.com. That's healthyjourney2016@gmail.com. And join me again tomorrow where we will be talking about more chemicals or more things that you need to get out of your home. And I'll be looking for articles to share like I did today about the sunscreen and the sun exposure, where you can determine what you want to do for your family. So I encourage you to be the gatekeeper. I encourage you to open your eyes. I encourage you to do the research and decide what is best for your family. So until we meet again, have a wonderful evening. Go get some sun exposure today. That's what I'm fixing to go do. And I pray you have a blessed evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow.